Hey guys, now it's time to start a discussion about control flow statements, and in this video we're going to look at the first control flow statement that you can use in Java, and that is an if statement. But first, what are control flow statements and why you need them? In Java, control flow statements are used to control the order in which statements are executed in a program. Statements here means lines of code, so you can control the order in which the lines of code are executed. They allow you to make decisions, iterate over loops, we'll see what loops are later, and define the flow of execution based on certain conditions. One of the fundamental control flow statements in Java is the if statement. The if statement in Java is used to make decisions based on a condition. It allows you to execute a block of code only if a specified condition evaluates to true. So let's open IntelliJ IDE. I'll open IntelliJ IDE. I will create a new project. I will call this project control flow in Pascal case. Language Java, build system IntelliJ, JDK, and I will let this checked because it will generate the main method. Click on create. Let's increase this. We can delete this code. We can hide the project pane because we don't need the project pane. I'm going to increase the font to increase readability. Now, I will declare a variable here, int. Let's add a space actually. Int my number equals to 10, let's say, semicolon. Also, one thing that you probably notice is that IntelliJ is adding indentation when a new line of code is starting. So as you can see here, before the public, because it's inside this class main, you have 4 spaces, and here you also have 4 spaces and another 4 spaces for the variable my number. Now, to use an if statement, we type if, and we wait here for the suggestion, or we can type if, and we put parentheses, so you can put space, or you cannot put space, you can do whatever you want. So I will put left parenthesis, and when I type the left parenthesis, the right parenthesis was added automatically. So I will type again parenthesis, and inside the parenthesis we define our condition. So here we're going to define what condition has to be true in order for the block of code to be executed. So I'm going to put here my number inside the parentheses, and now I will introduce a new operator, which is the equals to operator, which are 2 equal signs. If my number equals 10. So what this operator is doing is checking to see if the operand on the left is the same as the operand of the right. So I'm going to put left curly brace. Actually, let me show you without curly braces first, and then I will show you how to use curly braces. And I will type here SOUT, and I will say they are equal. Let's run this code. We get they are equal because this condition evaluates to true, and this line of code is executed. Now, what if I put another SOUT here? SOUT. Actually, let's delete this, and let me put curly braces first. So let's put left curly brace and right curly brace. So now our code is inside the curly braces. I'll put here SOUT. Let's say they are equal again. And now I will make this condition to be false, so I'll change this to 11. We're checking now to see if the value of my number is equal to 11, which is false. So it will skip those lines of code which are defined by the curly braces. So now if you run this, now you get nothing in the output because the condition evaluates to false, and the code block, the lines of code which are inside the curly braces, are skipped. So all the lines of code that you add here. So you can add a lot of how many lines of code you want, and they all gonna be skipped. If you don't use curly braces, so if I remove the curly braces and I run this, as you can see, it says they are equal again. This is because when you don't use curly braces, only the first line of code is a part of the if statement. So only this line of code that is defined here is part of the statement. The next line of code is part of the program. So, and because our code runs linearly, so one line after another, this is executed because it comes below after this line of code. Now let's put curly braces back. But let's say that I want to do something if the condition is false. In that case, we can use an else statement. So I can put else, curly braces, and press enter, and the right curly brace was added automatically. I'll put SOUT, and I'll say they are not equal. Let's run this to see what to get. Now, because this condition evaluates to false, the else part is going to be executed, and implicitly the code inside the curly braces defined for the else, that code is going to be executed. So you get they are not equal. The else is always executed when the if fails, or as you'll see later, when all the if or else if fail, because you can have more than one if. You can change more than one if. So let's delete this. Now let's change this variable. First, let's change its name, and this is a good time to show you how to refactor something. You simply right click on it, go to refactor, and you click here where it says rename. And now you can change the name of this variable everywhere where the variable is called. So now I can type here, let's say age, press enter. Let's change it to 18. Let's say if age equals to 18, I'm gonna change now the output is gonna say you can vote. Please put an X in the ballot. And here we're gonna say, so if the if is false, I'm gonna say you can't vote. And now I'll use something to add a new line. I will put \n. I'll type here, please come back in, and I'll put here plus parenthesis. I will type here 18 minus age, and I'll put plus quotation marks years. So what we're doing here, we are checking to see if the age is 18. If the age is 18, well, we are outputting this in the console. We are executing this block. If the age is not 18, we say you can't vote, and we add the new line with this \n, and we are saying please come back in 18 minus age, and that is going to give us the difference, the number of years which the person needs to have in order to be able to vote. Now let's run this. It will say as expected, you can vote, please put an X in the ballot. But if I change this to let's say 16, let's run it. Now the else is executed. It says you can vote, and because we put here \n, it's added a new line. So we have on the new line, please come back in 2 years. So this is our code. This is the if statement. I'm gonna end this video here, and the next video I'm gonna continue our discussion about if statements.